Hello and welcome to the Logic Box with me, Jones. We're all the way in Ghana. We're currently at Labadi Beach Hotel. And we're on the beach, you can see the sand. And I have with me Jifa and Aretha. Now, on this particular subject, okay, every time we talk about the diaspora and our brothers and sisters back home, there seems to be a gap. You hear diasporans saying, "Oh, Ghana for Ghanaians. They this, they that, they this, they that." Just totally different perception. When you speak to the locals, Abrochi for diasporans, they this, they that, they this. These two guests I have here, they're actually the best people to speak to on this subject. What is it? What is the missing link between diasporans and our brothers and sisters back home? Let me start with you first, Ichifa. What do you think it is? Because you school outside, but you live in Ghana.
I think.
Sorry, alcohol.
Oh, okay. I think the missing link is the ideas with each other. I think in England people have this perception that, oh, I'm living a much better life than Ghanaians, and because what is fed about Ghana is just poverty and just poverty. Like that's what you see in England. So they don't understand that there are some people who are making it out here and who are living really good lives. So they think their lifestyle is a lot better, and I feel like there's an air of like superiority that comes off from people who lives in UK. And now living in Ghana, I realized that once you have money in Ghana, life is a lot better than England. Like so much better. It's so much more relaxed, and you're just enjoying. And I think because people come off with that mindset in England, it makes the locals a bit irritated because it's like they feel like they're looking down on them. And in that same way, I feel like some locals of a certain like socio-economic background look on them like, you think you're this, but I'm also this. So it's kind of like a who's better type of game, I feel. But that's where I see it from.
Aretha?
Okay, sorry.
That's fine.
I think for what you said about the perceptions, like if you were, let's say you were born and raised in Ghana, you've never really known anyone who's not from who's from the UK or the US. Your view on them is either, oh, they're these great people from this great place of this land of opportunity. Either that, or you see them as these people who look down on you. And I mean, you can take that back to all kinds of history, all kinds of political nonsense. But I think, like conversely, if you're living in the UK, you're gonna look at places like Ghana as, oh, these people who don't know anything, they don't live this kind of certain lifestyle. So when they come here, even though they see places like Labadi or they see places like Bloomba or anything, they still have that inherent like superiority complex of like, how many times at Bloom did we see, sorry, I don't want to use the term diasporan people, but like how many times did we see, like, let's say girls who are like clearly like just right off the plane from London saying, oh, don't touch me, I'm from here, like you don't know me, I'm wearing this, I'm wearing that, like trying to fight with bouncers because they feel like they're owed this certain kind of treatment because they're from the diaspora. I think that's the gap. Like everyone has to stop seeing each other as like inferior or superior because I mean to the white man, it's all black. Yeah. Like it doesn't really matter where you were from, like where you went to school. Like blackness is blackness. So I think once we stop seeing each other as, oh, you're not from here, you don't have this experience, you don't have this kind of money, you've never seen this, I think that's where the gap is, and that's where the problem is too, in my opinion.
And also, the issue of trust plays a key role between the people abroad. I'm trying not to use diasporans. People living abroad and the locals, because you hear so many stories of people wanting to invest, but the lack of accountability. That seems to be an issue with people who live abroad.
Do you mean as in people living abroad wanting to invest in Ghana?
Yes.
Well, I'm not very informed on that topic, but I think there is that stereotype of like the African man being kind of like corrupt and dangerous in some ways. But again, with any business you go into, there's risk, and some of the laws here need work, but wherever you're coming from, you need to make sure you're doing it in a secure.
Does the law work here?
No, we have a lot of work to do. Like that is one of the issues. Like our political system needs a lot of work. But I think with Ghana, a lot of private businesses are doing their own thing. Yeah. So it's unfortunately you have to take it into your own hands and take your own precautions. And if you do that, you will thrive here because there's so much space and gaps for businesses to come in. Like places like the UK, something as simple as like hair, it's so saturated. Like whereas here, there's only a few big contenders. So I just feel like this is the place to come, and you just need to take your precautions. That's all.
Ghana is opening for business, and you will advise outsiders to come in, especially Ghanaians, and to start creating something here, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's always space for new things. I think there's different experiences that I think Ghanaians deserve to have, like different things that we're used to in like the UK and the US, like different cinemas, like just places like leisure things. I think those are always needed, but again, it has to be done with while understanding what the local people can and can't do, what they do and do not understand. Like if you're gonna open, let's say, even something as simple as like real estate. I've noticed like everyone's noticed like new apartment buildings that come into town. It's almost like they're not built for anyone to live in them. And like people, the average Ghanaian cannot even dream of affording the monthly rent. So I think if you're gonna build new things in Ghana, yes, you want it to make a lot of money, but you'd also want it to be accessible. And I think if you're gonna invest, you're gonna see a problem when you don't have the right kind of publicity and it's not accessible at the same time. You're gonna feel like your investment was useless. But if you made it more accessible, if you made it more maybe you made it more accessible for the locals, I think it would just do a lot better. I think everything needs to be done with that mindset.
And lastly, before I let you girls go, what do you think studying outside, has it changed your perception and your outlook of life in general? And are you thinking of settling outside, or are you thinking of coming back after your studies?
Well, it's interesting because I lived in the UK before coming here, and I lived here for 5 years. And before coming here, I was very sure, and I'm not coming back to Ghana. I don't like Ghana. Like, I could never live here. But as you get older and you're in the UK, you realize that there's nothing there for us. Like, the ceilings in terms of race and gender are very high in the UK. And if you can come up with a plan of what you're going to do, I think here is the place for us because there's no limits on what you can do. So I personally know I'm coming back here because I don't feel like living in a society where I'm constantly looked down on. Like, that's me personally. But I think the way I think is different in the sense that because I've had the opportunity to have a really privileged education, I'm a lot more open-minded culturally a lot. Because the culture here, I don't want to say it, but I don't think it's very open-minded in the sense of it's not very accepting of a lot of things that maybe Westerners are more accepting of. And it's controversial whether we should be as accepting, but I think me being as open-minded will make it easier for me to open more doors for myself because I'm also more aware of things that certain people are not aware of here, which will, I think, make me succeed a lot more here.
Okay. And you, Rita?
I'm still on the fence because I go to school in the U.S. and all I've ever been taught is there's so much more opportunity there, and I guess it goes both ways because there is a lot of open space for business and life and everything here, but I feel like the same can be said about pretty much anywhere. Of course, I'm always worried about, as a black woman, how far can I really go in a land that's not mine at all? So, I mean, that's always in the back of my mind. I think I still have to see where things go because, I mean, I'm 19. I don't really know what the plan is yet. But in terms of where I know I want to, settle, like when I've done, making my money and everything, it can't be anywhere but Accra for me. I can't see myself, living properly anywhere else. I can see myself working everywhere else, but living, building a home and everything, I feel like it has to be here because, I mean, this is home and you guys have seen the enjoyments. Why should I go anywhere else with this? So I think this is where I'd want to come back. If the opportunity presents itself, I'd love to work here. I'd love to invest in bringing things back home. I'd love to bring, because I've been educated in the UK, here and in the US. I'd love to bring that perspective back home and make sure that Ghana progresses. But I think we'll see what happens. But if the opportunity presents itself, I'd love to be able to finish school and come right back where I could do everything back here. That's the goal. That's the dream, I would say.
Okay, Jiva, thank you for talking to us, and Rita, thank you.
You're welcome.